You're listening to the Bulldog Insider Podcast, sponsored by Essentia Health.
It only takes one step, twist, or crunch to know something doesn't feel right. Essentia Health's orthopedic and sports medicine team gets you back to doing what you love with commitment, resilience, intention. We're here to keep you moving forward. Visit essentiahealth.org to learn more about orthopedics and sports medicine, like nowhere else.
Hello and welcome to the Bulldog Insider Podcast, brought to you by Essentia Health. I'm Matt Wellens, the Bulldogs hockey beat writer at the Duluth News Tribune and the Rink Live.
And I'm Zach Schneider, the television voice of UMD hockey on My9 Sports.
This week on the podcast, we're joined by a pair of former Hermantown high school teammates who have gone on to play at different schools in college, now realizing 2 of our first 4 episodes of this season have been Hermantown based. We do not apologize for that. Anyways, these 2 guys are going to share the ice again this weekend when the Bulldogs travel to Mankato to take on Minnesota State. Welcome to the podcast, Bulldogs 5th-year senior, Jacques. Hi, Jesse.
Hi, thanks for having me.
And he's technically not a Bulldog, but he's still part of the Bulldog family. And we have had non-Bulldogs on this podcast before. I believe Brett Larson fits that bill. Welcome, Mavericks senior winger, Ryan Sandelin. Hi, Ryan.
Thanks for having me on, guys. Appreciate it.
So we're recording this on Tuesday evening, just hours before Cole Koepke makes his NHL debut. He was a teammate of both of you guys. Anyone have any predictions? And everyone else will be listening to this on Thursday, but anyone have any predictions on what Cole does tonight with the Lightning at Madison Square Garden? Heck of a place to make your NHL debut. Jesse?
Yeah, I mean, Cole likes to shoot the puck, so you never know. He could definitely sneak one in, so I'll give him a goal tonight.
Golden Knight in his debut at Madison Square Garden. Ryan, what do you think we're going to get from Cole?
Yeah, I'll back him on that. He's got some good wheels too, so I'm excited to see how he looks out there. It's a pretty cool experience. We both played online with him, so pretty cool opportunity for him to have his NHL debut. I'm looking forward to watching it tonight.
Zach, what do you think is going to happen for Cole tonight?
Yeah, I'm excited for him. Obviously, it's been a couple of years since we've seen him. He's worked his way up through the AHL there in Tampa, but excited for him, and just another not only UMD guy, but Hermantown guy, local kid from the Duluth area and the surrounding community to be in the NHL. It seems like I was going to work on making my Bulldogs in the NHL graphic for our next broadcast, and it might take 2 full screen graphics to fit everybody once all the teams get released, which is awesome.
12 is the count I have starting on rosters, 3 from Hermantown. So Jesse and Ryan, you guys mentioned you guys played on a line together with Cole back in high school, but how long have the 2 of you known each other?
Yeah, I'll take this. Yeah, Cole and I, we grew up, obviously Ryan too. We were all friends, even outside of hockey, outside of the rink. I used to hang out with Cole when I was during baseball, 10, 12 years old, and we'd always make some good memories. So yeah, just not everything happened on the ice. There's a lot behind the scenes just growing up, and yeah, we've been friends and still stay connected today. So that's good.
Yeah, like Jesse said, I feel like a lot of it came through baseball. Honestly, his dad was kind of one of our baseball coaches growing up, so I have a lot of baseball memories with Cole. And then just like the Hermantown community, everybody spends a lot of time outdoor rinks and whatnot. So that's kind of how we all got to know each other really well, and we're still good friends, and we train and skate together in the off season. So, it's a good circle, a good group of guys we have in the summer, and not just Cole, but even like Dylan Sandberg and Wyatt now, all those guys that have moved on to pro hockey. I think we all stay pretty tight together just from where we came from.
Ryan, what's your first memory of Jesse?
Oh boy. That's tough. I'd say it has to be on the baseball field though. When I think Cole's dad called him Vern for the first time, and we thought it was the funniest thing ever. So that's probably my first Jesse memory. We were all on the same baseball team in Little League and whatnot. So yeah, I'll probably have to go with that.
What was that nickname?
Vern.
Vern?
Yeah.
Where does that come from?
I don't know.
Jesse, any idea where that comes from?
I think it came from Cole Kepi's dad, actually. I think he gave me that nickname. I don't know why. No idea with the backstory.
Did he just forget your name at a baseball practice?
No, maybe it was someone with like red hair or something. So it just kind of stuck with us. But my first memory of Ryan, he's probably going to laugh when I say this, but we used to fight over the number 11 when we were in like mites or whatever it was, maybe like mini mites. And we kind of just punch each other on the ice and stuff and just argue. And I think Ryan remembers that, but yeah, that's probably my first memory.
What is the significance of the number 11 to each of you? Is there a significance, or that was just like the first number you had? Number 11, I played soccer growing up, and that's the first sport I played. So every sport after that, I always needed the number 11 just because it was the first number handed to me. Any significance of the number 11 to you two?
No, it was just maybe a little popular at the time, but no, nothing for me.
I'd say Mason Raymond was like my favorite Bulldog at the time I started to be able to pick my number. So I think I just loved watching him play, and like he was like super nice to me around the rink when I was a little kid. So I kind of idolized him growing up, and I always wanted the number for him. And then obviously he went on and played in the NHL. So pretty good guy to take the number after, I guess.
Bulldogs and Mavericks taking on each other this weekend. It's been a common series here. A lot of meetings over the past few years here, going back to even before Ryan came to Mankato. But Ryan, what's the bigger deal for you on weeks like this when the Mavericks and Bulldogs together? A lot of people make a big deal out of you facing your dad, Coach Scott Sandelin. But which is the bigger deal, taking on seeing your dad or going up against former teammates like Jesse and Darian Goats, I believe, are the last two that you played with at Hermantown, still on the Bulldogs?
Yeah, I think it's kind of a combination of both. You know, my freshman year, there was a good amount of guys that I had played with or played against. And then, you know, as the years have gone on, they've moved on and they've graduated or signed NHL contracts and whatnot. So I think now it's kind of more of a blend of both. But I think the first meeting we had, I was really excited just to be able to play against those guys and be able to go out there and like share the ice with them. But now, like I'm a senior now, so like could be the last two times like I get to do both. So I guess just kind of sharing that moment and like kind of taking it all in, having family there is what's most important coming this weekend. And I'm just excited for the opportunity. Again, it's always a fun weekend when we get to play a good hockey team, and you know, they're always top five. So it's pretty exciting for us as a group here and just for me personally.
Jesse, there's probably not many teams on the schedule this year that you don't know somebody, you know, whether it's through high school, like a guy like Ryan, or, you know, somebody you played with in junior along the way, you know, now the transfer portal, they might be former Bulldogs on some of the teams you play against this year. But when it's a childhood friend, like it is this week against Ryan, is that kind of added significance, you know, that you grew up together playing, or, you know, are there some junior guys out there that you got their weekend circled on the calendar?
Yeah, I mean, that's a good question. You definitely want to bring your best against your friends and your past teammates. It's fun to battle out there. I mean, especially when you know each other, you kind of want to one up each other in a way, you know, so just so you can have bragging rights. So I definitely need to get back at Ryan because, you know, they took us down the last couple of times, but yeah, it's pretty cool to play against former teammates and especially Hermantown guys. So yeah, I'm really excited.
I feel like guys approach weeks like this differently. Are you two talkers throughout the week? Do you have a text going back and forth, or do you kind of keep to yourselves and we'll talk when it's over type of thing?
No, we're in a fantasy group chat, so we'll do a little chit chatting in that. But I mean, other than that, just kind of more so focusing on the weekend ahead and just keeping our heads down and getting ready.
Does one of you know the record against the other? Jesse, do you know your record? Maybe I should go to Ryan. Do you know your record against Jesse, or even your record against your dad?
Yeah, it's been brought up a time or two around the house, I think. So I do know it.
Who brings it up, you or dad?
I'll bring it up occasionally, but he's got some rings on his fingers that I'd like to catch up on. So, you know, I think he's got the quick one up in that department.
You two won back-to-back state titles at Hermantown in 2016 and 2017 to end that run of runner-up appearances. That 2016 team, I was looking back at it this week, was pretty special. I counted it up, and Zach or Ryan or Jesse, correct me if I'm wrong, 7 players on that team went on to play NCAA Division I hockey. Does that sound right to everyone?
I think so, yeah.
7 guys from that team. Plus there's a couple draft picks on that team as well. I think the biggest thing though from that team is you guys ending that state title streak. How close is that group to this day, even though all of you after high school have gone on to different places? Like I said, 7 guys played D1 hockey, but this may be a shocker to the rest of the college hockey world. They did not all end up at UMD like everyone kind of assumes.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty cool just obviously win state tournaments, especially back to back. One thing I noticed this year was we do an alumni skate in Hermantown, and there was a lot of guys our age. So it's pretty cool. You know, we all kind of stay connected in that way. We all like to be around each other. We all had such a great bond. And obviously when you win championships, it takes a lot of trust, a lot of friendships, a lot of bonding. So yeah, it's pretty cool. I feel like we stay in touch for the most part, and we want to keep doing that.
Yeah, for sure. Like Jesse said, you know, I think a lot of that catching up, everybody kind of goes their separate ways during the seasons, but I think we do a lot of that catching up over the summer, and, you know, we see each other, whether it's in the weight room, skating, just events in town, stuff like that, just going out, grabbing a drink or two, just hanging out, seeing how guys are doing. Like, I think there's a lot of that going on in the summer. It's a lot of behind the scenes stuff. So I think just being able to catch up with those guys in the summer is just a really great experience for all of us. Cause, you know, like Jesse said, you know, championships last forever. And that's something that we'll carry with us to the end of time. So I think it's pretty cool to be able to just go out and skate with guys that are still playing and be able to, you know, lace up with them competitively too.
Is that still that first championship, or maybe it's the second, but are those high school championships still some of your favorite hockey memories? You two have both gone on to obviously such great things in college, but to end that streak in Hermantown, it wasn't the first championship for that program, but it kind of felt like it when you guys won that first one to break the runner-up streak.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, what was it? 7 second places in a row, 6 or 7. Yeah, that once we won that first championship in 2016, just feel like it was a monkey off the back, and just being our junior year for Ryan and I, just felt like such a big accomplishment. We knew we had another year, and we're just super excited. And just leading into next year to win it your senior year, you can't believe that it's over too at the same time. So I would say it was pretty emotional winning it our second time. Not just because it was back to back, but just because we were seniors. You know, it's kind of getting to the end of time, and we're just going to be leaving each other. So yeah, definitely 2 special moments.
Yeah, for sure. I think the first one, I think we all felt for Bruce pretty hard. I mean, obviously he had been through a lot as the coach, the face of the program. He'd been through just so many games of just bad bounces and whatnot. You know, they both kind of had different layers to it. That first one, I think everybody just was really super happy for Bruce, and even the seniors that had played 2 games, state championship, and lost. But yeah, like Jesse said, the second one too, like, it was like the best of both worlds. Like, we were all so happy we won, but at the same time, we were all so sad. Like, some guys were done playing hockey. Some guys were moving on. Like, we had such a close group as like a senior group in 17. So I think there's just different layers to both groups, but both obviously really special moments for the both of us.
We talked with Blake Biondi on an episode earlier this season, kind of about the pressures about playing at Hermantown, and I guess the ringer that you have to go through mentally, physically, emotionally to play in that program because the expectations are so high. One thing he hasn't done in college yet is play in a national championship game like the two of you have. So compare those experiences for me. Obviously now you're at college programs where the expectations are through the roof as well. But sometimes I look at the state tournament and it's so much fun. We love it so much, but we're putting 16, 17, 18-year-olds in the public eye so much that sometimes I feel almost bad for them about how much pressure it is when you get to that game. And then, Jesse talked about the 6 teams that finished second and should feel really good about being the second best team in the state, right? But compare those experiences for me now that both of you have played in a national championship game in college as well.
Yeah, I mean, they're a little different. Just being in high school, it's kind of tough to describe, but just the excitement. I mean, you can compare, they're both comparable, but that's kind of a tough question, I guess. They're both really exciting, obviously, to get that far, but yeah, I can't really give you a firm answer. Just to make it to the championship game's such a important and big deal. So
Yeah, I think the cool thing is, like, I know like Jesse's obviously won a national championship and then we made it last year. So like, I think those moments when you're a kid, like if you can handle them really well, like they set you up for success down the road. And, you know, I think we had such a good culture in place in Hermantown that it kind of allowed, like, just playing in big games. Like, I think big games breed big players. And, you know, I think that's the reason why a lot of guys have gone from Hermantown to UMD and had success, or gone elsewhere and have had success. So, you know, I think there's two sides to look at it. You can either look at it as pressure, you can, you know, pressure cooks diamonds, as they like to say. So I think there's two different ways to look at it. And I think that's why so many Hermantown kids have had success, because they've played in so many big time games across different levels. And that's why they are where they're at today.
Zach mentioned the pressure when you're at a program like Hermantown of winning. What's the pressure for both of you as high schoolers going through that recruiting process? And I'm sitting here thinking, it's not just at Hermantown, a program like that. It's not just college coaches and junior coaches watching you guys. There's NHL scouts watching all your games as well. Can you tell us a little bit what it was like maybe for each of you as you're going through the recruiting process, and friends are committing and other teammates are maybe talking to NHL and junior scouts? You're talking to coaches and junior scouts. What's that like at Hermantown? All those outside things happening while you're also trying to, you know, win a state championship.
Yeah, that's a good question. I just feel like, you know, when you get those people around, you know, whether it's scouts or college coaches, recruits, you know, teammates committing before you, it just creates competition in a way, just makes you more competitive. You really want to get to that next level. I just feel like we're all good role models for each other at Hermantown. We all want to push each other. So, I mean, I felt like no one ever felt like envy or anything like that. It just kind of pushed everyone to be better. And like Ryan said, like the Hermantown culture is so strong and hockey's so important. So yeah, I feel like it brought the best out of us.
Yeah, I'll second that too. I think just having all that around, I think the coaching staff there was really great at just making sure, like, you know, you can't get to where you want to go unless you do what you need to do on a daily basis. So I think that's kind of one of the things at Hermantown that's really special, is they don't try and like force that upon you. They want you to get your work in every day, make sure you're getting better every day. And then on top of it, you have other players that are pushing you to get better every day. So, you know, it's not really a surprise that they've had the success that they've had and players have gone where they've gone. Because I think iron sharpens iron. I hate to go to the wheel of cliches, but like iron sharpens iron. And I think that's kind of how it works at Hermantown. It's always been that way, and it's going to continue to be that way for a long, long time. And I think we're just really fortunate to have kind of grown up in an era where there were so many good players that continually pushed us to be better every single day.
Are those Scott Sandelin or Mike Hastings cliches? Where'd you get those from?
I've got too many in the bag. I've got a lot of them. So
is there a lot of crossover and cliches between those two? Those two go way back.
Yeah, they probably got a dictionary's worth of analogies and cliches and whatnot. So yeah, I'm getting the best of both worlds in that regard.
Jesse, are you familiar with all those as well?
A little bit, yeah.
All right, we're going to take a short break. When we come back, we'll have more with Jesse, Jacques, and Ryan Sandelin. You're listening to the Bulldog Insider Podcast, brought to you by Essentia Health.
Hey there, my name is Wyatt Buckner, and I'm the host of the Duluth News Tribune Minute Podcast. Hear the most important news of the day, including weather and sports from Duluth, Minnesota, and from around the Northland. Join me and my fellow reporters as we take you through the local news you need to start your day. Episodes are released Monday through Friday and are available on Apple, Spotify, and wherever you get your podcasts. Thank you for supporting local journalism.
Hi, I'm Maria Lockwood, a reporter with the Superior Telegram. Explore Superior and Douglas County history with me on Archive Dive, a monthly podcast available at superiortelegram.com or wherever you listen to podcasts.
Welcome back to the Bulldog Insider Podcast, brought to you by Essentia Health. orthopedics, and sports medicine. They're proud to be the team physicians for the Bulldogs and provide sports medicine care to more than 25,000 student athletes in the community to ensure they can compete at the highest level while protecting their long-term health and athletic futures. Thanks to Essentia Health for their support of the News Tribune's coverage of Bulldog hockey. I'm Matt Wellens, joined by my co-host Zach Schneider and our guests, Jesse Jacques and Ryan Sandelin. A few quick questions to close things out here. As both of you mentioned, you guys knew each other long before hockey. It's interesting you bring up baseball because I feel like some of the better hockey players from around this area we're pretty good baseball players as well. Question for both of you. And Ryan, this is really probably an easier question for you. You got to know Scott Sandelin as a dad before maybe you ever got to know him as a coach. What's the difference between Scott Sandelin, the dad, and Scott Sandelin, the coach? Ryan, we'll start with you.
That's a great question. Not much. Runs a pretty tight ship at home, so it's pretty similar at home and at work. But when he's at home being a dad, I mean, I think it's just tough to put into words how much he means to me as a dad and as a coach too. But I think that side of him really goes unnoticed. And, I'm just really fortunate to be in a house with two great parents, not only my dad, but my mom. My mom's kind of running the show on her own deal. So she's great too. So, I'm just really fortunate to have two really good parents.
Yeah. I'm well aware Wendy Sandelin is the boss of the Sandelin household there, maybe more than Scott. Jesse, how about you? Most college hockey players meet their coach in the recruiting process, but you knew Scott well before. Can you tell us the difference between Scott Sandelin as Ryan's dad versus Scott Sandelin as your coach? Anything in particular stand out?
No, I mean, obviously he's a great coach, but yeah, growing up with Ryan, I was around him a lot. I got, a lot of exposure. Good guy, great coach. Obviously being a coach is not the same as what you're going to do in everyday life, but yeah, just a good coach, good guy.
Ryan, when you were going through your recruiting process, I remember you saying, and I don't think not everybody's been in this position, obviously, but I don't think it was, unexpected maybe that you said you wanted Scott to continue being dad and you didn't want him to be coach necessarily at that stage in your careers. And how's that worked out? I mean, through 4 years now, or almost through 4 years at Minnesota State, sometimes whenever we need Scott to smile when we're asking him questions, we ask him a question about you and then he cracks a little bit of a smirk. But, how's that relationship been through 4 years? You've had a lot of success and a lot of good battles that we've talked about.
Yeah, I think, the battles I like to keep somewhat separate, but I think just the other stuff, he's been so good for me to lean on. Just if I'm going through stuff as a player, he sees the other side of it. So I think, he can give me a different perspective than other kids have, which I try to use the best of my advantage. And fortunately, he was able to come to our last game on Friday down at Mariucci. So, again, like he doesn't get to watch a lot of games, but he can pick up on things or see things differently from the stands than online. So he's always there to help me and just kind of be a second, third, fourth coach after my coaching staff here. So, it's been great to have him in both assets, and like it's just a really unique situation. So being able to have that as an asset and as an advantage to me is really beneficial. And I think it's really helped me, especially over the back half of my career at MSU.
All right, some quick hits to close out this episode. I apologize for any random sounds in the background. Jack has joined the studio audience for the podcast this week. Who had the better hair in high school? Ryan Sandelin, Jesse Jacques, or Cole Koepke?
Jesse, for sure.
Yeah, I'd have to give it to myself. The red flow is pretty funny.
It's one of my favorite photos in the D&T archive is a photo of the three of you. Cole kind of had a fro going out or something like that back in the day there. Would you rather spend a day golfing with Scott Sandelin or fishing with Scott Sandelin?
Oh, I've seen both. I think Jesse's done almost both too. So I'll go golfing. I haven't golfed with him in a while, so I'll probably go golfing. He's a good time on the course.
Jesse, how about you?
I definitely say golfing. I like to
golfing.
Yep.
He's a good fisherman though.
Competitive in both?
Oh, extremely competitive.
I'm surprised that UMD does an annual alumni golf outing. I thought for sure maybe that group would be good for an alumni fishing outing, maybe one of these years. Let's see what other questions, quick hitters I could sneak in here real quick. In honor of Blake Biondi and your guys' high school alma mater there, getting a documentary about it. Which former teammate would you think would be the most interesting for a documentary crew to follow around for a season? It can be college or high school. Jesse, we'll start with you.
I might have to pass this on to Ryan so I can think.
Ryan,
on.
you got someone?
Come on, you're not gonna go Dylan? You know it's Dylan.
Yeah,
It's gotta be Dylan Sandberg.
Dylan Sandberg. If Hockeyland had been done in your time, it would have been Dylan Sandberg would have been the guy to follow around.
100%. Yeah.
I think so. Goofball.
Well, of course, he made the opening night roster, didn't he? So they did that thing over the summer with Neil at his house. So maybe we'll get to see that yet. Maybe the Jets will follow him around someday.
Yeah, for sure.
That would be cool.
Who has the best sellies from back in high school and now in college?
I'll say Ryan with the heartbreaker. When we were playing in the semifinal senior year, pulled that out with the game winner. So I'll give it to him.
I don't know. Your bow and arrow was pretty good. So I don't know. We trade back and forth. They're both pretty good. Cole was lacking in that department, I'll say.
You had a pretty good one this past Saturday night, Ryan.
Yeah. Don't like the Gophers. Nobody here on this podcast does, I don't think. So
I think that's one thing this whole podcast can agree on ahead of this weekend series.
absolutely. Yeah. Anything to get the U out of there. So
Yeah, no bringing Jess Myers on Bulldog Insider. I got to deal with him on Rink Live podcasts. Guys, who has the best chirps?
Jesse for sure.
Yeah, I like to mix in some funny lines here and there, but I don't know.
Ryan,
He's
what's
a funny guy off the ice, so he's quick with it.
Ryan, what's Jesse's best chirp?
I don't know. He hasn't got me yet. He might pull his best ones out on me this weekend. We'll see.
Jesse, have you just been saving the best for last year for that 5th year?
You just got to kind of ad lib as you go. So I guess we'll find out.
Okay, so you're an ad libber. You don't have them banked up or anything like that.
Not really, no.
All right, guys. That's all the time we have on the Bulldog Insider Podcast this week. Jesse's got to get to class, and we got a Cole Koepke NHL debut to watch tonight on ESPN. Hope everyone by Thursday didn't miss that at all. Jesse and Ryan, thank you so much for joining us. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
You can find the Bulldog Insider Podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. Subscribe and rate us. For more Bulldogs hockey coverage, visit therinklive.com and DuluthNewsTribune.com. Zach, what's the TV schedule look like this weekend for Bulldogs and Mavericks?
People can watch this weekend. We're carrying the games. We're using the away video and away announcers. So I'm going to be at home watching these guys and their teams battle with a beer on my couch. But 7:00 Friday, 6:00 Saturday for Bulldogs Mavericks on My9.
All right. So catch that on My9 Sports. Thank you to Zach, as always, for joining me on the podcast. Thanks to our sponsor, Essentia Health, for their support of the Bulldog Insider Podcast. And thanks to you all for listening. We will catch you next week.